ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So after Maitreya Rishi, he gave understanding about Anusuya, the wife of Atri Muni, and who was the daughter of Kardama Muni. She gave birth to 3 very famous sons: Soma, Dattatreya and Durvasa, who were partial representation of Brahma, Vishnu and Lord Shiva. So Vidura then inquires about this. My dear master, how is it that the 3 deities Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, who are the creator, maintainer and destroyer of the whole creation, became the offspring of the wife of Atri Muni? So Vidura is very inquisitive when he understood that the super soul Paramatma and Brahma and Lord Shiva, they all appeared together and became the son of Atri Muni and his wife. So there must have been some purpose, there must have been some reason for this appearance of the Lord. Otherwise, why they would have appeared like this? So Vidura is very inquisitive. This is a very important sign of a disciple, very important quality of a to inquire submissively about spiritual subject matters. The whole important idea of taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master is tad vignanartham sagurum evabhigachet, to obtain spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge by inquiry, submissiveness, service. And when one fully surrenders, and in that surrender also renders service to the spiritual master and inquires about the subject matter, he can advance in spiritual life. So the bona fide spiritual master clarifies the doubts of his disciple. So here we find similarly Vidura is very inquisitive to know about whatever is described by Maitreya Rishi. So then Maitreya Rishi is explaining about that how this happened. So Brahmaji had ordered Atri Muni to procreate and generate living entities after he married Anusuya. So following that order of Lord Brahma, both husband and wife, Atri Rishi and Anusuya, they went to the holy place where there is a river called Nirvindhya, and there Atri Rishi meditated for 100 years, standing on one leg. He practiced yoga system, trying to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, concentrated his mind, and by following the different principles of yoga system, gave up material attachments, and he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. So his meditation is explained here in this verse. Sharanam tam prapaddheham. This is how he was meditating or thinking. May the Lord of the universe, of whom I have taken shelter. Sharanam tam prapaddheham ya eva jagadishvaraha. The Lord of the universe, Jagadishvaraha. So this is where we find a difference between a pure devotee of the Lord and a great personality like Atri Rishi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ainanda Tanuja. He is addressing the Supreme Lord by his personal name. The Lord becomes very pleased when he is addressed personally and specifically in relation to his pure devotees. Yashoda Nandan, Vasudeva Sutta, Devaki Nandan. Right? So, whereas here we find Atri Rishi, he is meditating as Jagadishvara. Now, this word Jagadishvara has different meanings. There is no doubt that finally, ultimately, Jagadishvara is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But according to the context, Jagadishvara may also refer to Lord Brahma, who is the master of the universe of creation. It may refer to the super soul, who is maintaining this whole creation. Or it may refer to Lord Shiva, who is the master of this material world, with his wife Durga Devi, and who annihilates this material world. It may also refers to Mahavishnu, who created in the beginning this material world. It may refer to Lord Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who enters into every universe. It may refer to Shirodakshai Vishnu, who enters into every atom. All of them are Jagadishwara, according to the different context. So it's not very clear to Atri Rishi who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, he, as per the Vedic literature, the Vedic literature says, just like Vedanta Sutra says, the Supreme Personality is one from whom everything emanates, everything is maintained by him, and after dissolution, everything rests in him. Janmadi asya yataha. But what happens is, different people have different conception about these sutras from Vedanta. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended, specifically in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for people to understand Vedanta Sutra. And even after compiling Vedanta Sutra, Ved Vyasa himself was not fully satisfied. This is very important to understand. Because Vedanta Sutra, even though it refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead only, it does not clearly explain about the attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, as a result, people may misunderstand the absolute truth to be different. Somebody may consider the absolute truth to be impersonal Brahman. Someone else may consider the absolute truth to be the Paramatma residing. So, different conceptions may come about after reading the Vedic literatures. And that is when Ved Vyasa was advised by Narad Muni that you should write Srimad Bhagavatam, which will contain the personal glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is how Srimad Bhagavatam was ultimately compiled by Ved Vyasa. And Bhagavatam is called as Paramahamsa Samhita. It is the literature which is meant for Paramahamsas. Because until and unless one comes to the point of being a Paramahamsa, one cannot understand the personal glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, that is how we find, Prabhupada is explaining here, that great sage Atri Rishi did not have a clear conception about what is the absolute truth. So he is thinking the absolute truth in the terms of one who is the creator, one who is the maintainer, and one who is the destroyer. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam, in the very first shloka, clarifies Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Prabhupada explains that the word Vasudevaya is very significant because it refers, it clarifies who is that absolute truth. Satyam Param Dhimahi. When Ved Vyasa is meditating, Satyam Param Dhimahi, I am meditating on the absolute truth. Who is that absolute truth? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, he is son of Vasudev, and that is why he is called as Vasudevaya. So here we find a lot of difference between understanding superficially the Vedic literature and actually understanding the import of the Vedic literatures. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very clearly explains, Vedescha sarve ahameva Veda. From all the Vedic literature, actually I am to be known. If Atri Rishi was very clear in his understanding, he would have known that from all Vedic literature it is the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, who is to be known. So I must meditate on him. So rather than meditating on the limbs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, on Lord Vishnu or on Lord Krishna, he is meditating on impersonal concept of Jagadishvara, one who is the master of this whole material creation, which could mean Lord Shiva, which could mean Lord Brahma, which could mean Lord Vishnu. And that is how we find that all the three personalities appeared before him. And he was confused that whom did I call? Later on we will find when he sees the three personalities, he said, I called only one. But why three of you have appeared? Isn't it? Because he was not very clear in his conception. See, devotional service, there are varieties of devotional services. We are very fortunate to have uncontaminated, pure devotional service. Rupa Goswami has described very, very nicely about what is called as pure devotional service. So in two ways we find here, Prabhupada is explaining, Atri Rishi's devotional service was mixed. It was not on the level of pure devotee. One is, one who is a pure devotee of the Lord very clearly knows the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not unclear. We find the Mayavadis, they will never utter the word Krishna. They will utter Brahman, Parabrahman, Chaitanya, so many different kinds of words which also are actually acknowledging the Supreme Lord only. No doubt about it. But because they are envious of the personality of Godhead, they neglect the person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are actually considered as offenders. You see. So, one important aspect is the pure devotee of the Lord is very clear about his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, we find in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained about the exclusive pure devotional service of the standard of the gopis was to such an extent, they were so undiverted in their surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that even his different other amshas of the Lord, expansions of the Lord, they had no concern. When they were completely in ecstasy of and completely absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord in Viraha Bhav, when the Lord had suddenly disappeared from Rasa dance. The Lord suddenly appeared to them in the form of Vishnu. But then they said that this is not our dear Supreme Lord Krishna. He is Lord Vishnu. And they just paid their obeisances and carried on searching for Lord Krishna. So, this was the kind of exclusive devotional service of the gopis. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is recommending that actually we should follow in the footsteps of the gopis. Isn't it? So there is no parallel to the devotional service exhibited by the Vrajavadhus. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute this topmost devotional service. Even though there are other forms of devotional service as rendered by many other devotees of the Lord. There is devotional service which is rendered in Dasya Rasa. There is devotional service which is rendered in Sakhya Rasa. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically wanted that we can understand the perfection of devotional service in Madhurya Rasa as was exhibited by the damsels of Vrajabhumi. So, Rupa Goswami has very nicely described about what are the symptoms of pure devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttamam. The topmost devotional service is without any desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Prabhupada is explaining there is a difference between getting the Supreme Lord as one's son and getting a son like Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a difference. I want a son like Supreme Lord and I want Supreme Lord as my son. There's a lot of difference. Isn't it? Mother Yashoda wanted the Supreme Lord as her son. Whereas Atri Rishi, he is wanting a son like the Supreme Personality of God. So that means somebody empowered like the Supreme Personality of God. So, this is not considered to be the aspect of pure devotional service. This comes in the category of wanting something from the Supreme Lord, which is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Chatur vidha bhajante ma. 4 kinds of people approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for wanting something. Pure devotee is not approaching the Supreme Lord for wanting something. He is different. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariupasate. He is completely different. He is 24-hour absorbed only in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Ananyas chintayat. Only about thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, 4 kinds of people, according to Bhagavad Gita, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They may become purified if they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that even if you want something material, you better approach the Supreme Lord. Akamo sarva kamo va moksha kama udaridi yajeta purusham param. It still says tivrena bhakti yogena that with intense devotional service you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whether you have a kama, you do not want anything, you have sarva kama, you want everything, or you require specific desire like moksha kama, still you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that is not a standard of pure devotional service. They may become pure devotees over a period of time. And we find so many such examples also. Dhruva Maharaj, he had a desire to gain something from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after gaining and after meeting the Supreme Lord face to face, he repents about his desires. That actually he desired all these kinds of material. He could have desired that, my dear Lord, give me your devotional service life after life, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. What should be the desire of a pure devotee of the Lord? Mam janmani janmanishware bhavatar bhaktir ahetuki tvai. My dear Lord, I do not even desire moksha from this world. Let me be born again and again, provided I get the chance to perform pure devotional service unto you. So, it is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam that the devotee is not hesitant even to go and be born in Naraka, because he sees for him Naraka and Swarga are tulyatapi darshanaha. There is no difference between Naraka and Swarga because everywhere he can simply remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So devotee, pure devotee of the Lord has no such desire. But Bhagavad Gita explains there are 4 kinds of people who approach the Supreme Lord. Arto, somebody who is distressed, he may approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, provided he has the background of pious activities. If he is impious, he becomes more averse to God if he is in distressful condition. When distress will come, such a person will not approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When material happiness comes, such a person thinks that everything is done by him. He is the one who has endeavored. And when distress comes, he thinks that God has given me. I did not do anything. So he loses more and more faith in God. Whereas if he has pious background, then he will surrender to God. But there is a chance, once his distress is over, he may become diverted. He has surrendered to the Lord that I am having this problem, and let us say by the mercy of the Lord his distress is gone. Then he may become diverted. Similarly, artharti, somebody wants money, opulence, he may also approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But again there is a chance that he may also become diverted. Somebody, after getting money, generally we find one forgets the importance of understanding that actually this material life is temporary, and it gives rise to false pride, ahankara. So we find Kunti Maharani saying that there are 4 things, the 4 material opulences which can divert a person from Krishna consciousness. Janma, Shruta, then Shrivi. So good birth, in a good family, lot of opulence, material beauty, and material knowledge. All these things can divert a person. So artho, artharthi, then jignasu, somebody who is inquisitive about what is this material world, what is this. So he may also approach. And once his inquisitiveness is over, he may also get diverted. And then fourth is jnani. All of them are called as udara, but Krishna says out of them, jnani is more dear to him. Because one who approaches the Supreme Lord with proper understanding and knowledge, you see, that is more important. So Krishna consciousness automatically includes jnana as well as vairagya. Both are included in that. So when one performs pure devotional service, and specifically the contamination of jnana and karma are one of the biggest contamination. So Rupa Goswami, that's why he's saying, jnana karmadi anavritam. One should be devoid specifically of the desire for jnana and karma. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam, and devotional service which is favorable to Krishna, not unfavorable. Just like Kamsa, he is also 24-hour thinking about Krishna, but that is not favorable. That is unfavorable. It is not counted in devotional service. Krishnanushilanam, and one who practices such devotional service following in the footsteps of other pure devotees, that is called as pure devotional service. So there is a lot of difference we can find here. One is, he does not know the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not know who is that Supreme Lord, who is that Jagatishvara. And second is, he is wanting the Supreme Lord not as his son, but someone like Supreme Lord as his son. So this is how we can find Srila Prabhupada is very clearly explaining about the difference between mixed devotional service and the pure devotional service. So we'll stop with this. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.